All right, let's talk about tools. This is one of my favorite subjects, up there with electricity and electronics, space stuff, and quantum physics. Anyway, tools it is. I'm actually sitting on a toolbox that we store in the back of our truck. Lots of this stuff I'm going to show you fits inside this toolbox. Even though it might not look like it can, we make it fit. I'm going to go through a lot of our tools, no semblance of order here. I'm just going to show you what we carry. So the first tool is a multi-tool. I carry this in my pocket almost everywhere we go. It's the General Leatherman Wave tool. It has all kinds of stuff on it, and truthfully, this little thing is probably used more than anything else, and it takes place of a lot of these, but I still need a lot of these other tools to do certain jobs. We're do-it-yourself people, and we try to do as much as we can by ourselves. Let's get into my main tool bag. This is a little bag that I carry around, and it's got all kinds of general tools in it. It's got hammers, it's got a drill, although I also carry an impact driver. It's got wrenches, screwdrivers of an entire assortment, flatheads, Phillips, some of the real short screwdrivers too. Those can be incredibly handy. It's got other miscellaneous things like zip ties in it. A really cool tool called the cat's claw. This is a really handy tool for lots of different things. I've got a caliper in here for measuring small things accurately. All kinds of snippers and pliers and other things like that. Just a lot of general tools. Also lots of safety gloves. You never know when you're gonna need some, so they are in my general toolkit. Also in here I've got a staple gun, a handful of files and some rope, a tape measure, more zip ties, a compass, a lug crimper for big lugs. This is a really neat tool. You actually hammer it to crush larger lugs. This works for pretty small lugs too. So this is a really cool tool for doing electrical repairs and electrical projects. Lots of electrical tapes, plumbing tapes and plumbing putty. I carry some of that as well. A couple pry bars. The small ones are really convenient for small jobs. I also have a larger one, and a handful of different vice grips. These are convenient for doing all kinds of different projects. A lot of the tools that I carry because they typically serve multi-purposes. The vice grips really help in place of actually having a vise. Oh my gosh, there's just so many little things in this bag. A chisel, always an important thing. Sharpie, a plumb bob. This can be a really handy tool. Electrical tester. This is a non-contact electrical tester, really convenient. Always check twice on a powered and non-powered outlet, but this can really help you make sure there's no power before getting into an electrical circuit. And a backup flashlight. Wire strippers of a number of different styles and types. I do a lot of electrical jobs, so having a lot of electrical tools is very important. A few more markers of sorts and a lighter. This is kind of my general tool bag that I grab when I run in to do a project in a house or the RV. All right, going down the line here, we've got chain, rope, and ratchet straps and some bungee cords. We carry a number of different things so we can strap stuff to the truck or get pulled out of a situation if we need to. This is a ratchet set. It is a pretty big ratchet set. I have a number of different ratchets, and I have multiple of different size sockets, because a lot of times you need multiple ratchets to be able to work on something from either end. So having a nice big ratchet set is really important to me. I also carry a smaller backup set that's just in the truck at all times. This usually lives in the fifth wheel, but this I carry in the truck because it's just really handy to have a ratchet set with you. In addition to ratchets, I carry a big torque wrench. I carry this for a couple purposes. I need it to be able to properly torque the hitch in our truck, and also to torque the wheel hubs on our RV when we remove them. So this is a 150-pound torque wrench, and then also just a big lug wrench to help get some lug nuts off the trailer and truck. The Honda generator, it's kind of a tool, it's kind of a necessity. Before we had solar, we used this as our primary source of power when we were off grid. I use it a lot in my tools though. I have a number of power tools, and when we're off in the middle of nowhere doing a repair, having this to actually power those tools is really convenient. All right, I pulled a lot of tools out of the box already, but there's a handful in here. Let's see what we got. All right, so this is a really dirty, nasty looking fuel pump. This is a super convenient way to pump fuel. I carry a number of fuel cans, some gasoline, some diesel. This helps transfer that fuel a lot easier. A box of spare electrical parts. I have all kinds of things in here, from zip ties. I've got a solder sucker in here, lots of spare electrical wires, some Velcro, lots and lots of little electrical components. I've usually find that I need something and I end up getting extra, so that I just keep them so that I can do electrical repairs on the road. A caulk gun. I carry a number of different caulks. This is the ProFlex RV. We just use this to caulk around the outside of the RV, but we also have some silicone sealants and things like that. You definitely need a caulk gun. This is an interesting tool. This is the Adventure Mate. This is a shovel slash axe slash hammer slash saw. There's actually a saw on this thing as well. This is another multi-tool that replaces a handful of other tools. Here's the spade that comes with it, and then I think if I press this button, you can see there's a big saw I can attach on this side. Another one of those tools that saves me having to carry multiple tools. But it looks like I might carry those tools anyway. We've got a handful of different saws, a wood saw, a metal saw, another wood saw. Sometimes it's just nice to have a big old handsaw. We got a wire brush. We got a whole bunch of clamps. Clamps are really helpful when trying to glue something together or get something to hold together when you're just one person or in a really tight space. More electrical wire, the bigger stuff that wouldn't fit in my little electrical box. A bigger crowbar, a lot like this one you saw earlier, except a little bit bigger for bigger projects. Sandpaper, I carry a lot of sandpaper. You never know when you're gonna need it. Looks like the rest of this stuff is pretty miscellaneous. I got some plastic tubing. This box right here is full of a whole bunch of adhesives. We got Bondo in here. We've got some shoe goo, more sealant. I've got some epoxy wood filler, really just all kinds of stuff in here. A lot of it I used for one application and I just kept the remnants. This stuff is pretty neat here. This stuff you wrap around something that's broken and then you get it wet and it hardens, and it's really cool. You can fix a lot of things with this stuff. Along with the chemical fasteners, I've got some mechanical fasteners. I carry a whole bunch of different screws and things like that. These are some screws. This is a handful of bolts in here. I've got a number of different little pieces of hardware. You'll just never know if you're gonna need it. Lastly, in this box, I've got a rivet gun. Again, had a project that I needed it for and I just kept it. I think I've used it a couple times though. Another tool that hangs out in the box is straight edge. This comes in handy all the time. Straight edge slash measuring device. This is a air pump. We use this to inflate the tires in the RV and the truck. This is nothing special. It's just a Harbor Freight air compressor, but it has a relatively high volume and high pressure because our RV tires are 110 PSI. We need a more powerful pump to be able to inflate them. This box is a box of bits along with my drill and impact driver here. You need bits to use it with. I have all kinds of bits in here, bits and screws and all kinds of things. As you can see, it doesn't look very well organized, but I actually do know where stuff is in here. I've also got all kinds of little Dremel cutting bits and things like that. I do have a Dremel tool. We'll show you that in a minute. In here, I've also got blades and grinding bits for an angle grinder. I just call this my bit box. It has all kinds of stuff in it, and it's where I go when I need to find an attachment for one of my power tools. Here we have another box of stuff that hangs out in the back of our truck. In it, we have some jack stands, 2 sets of those, some spare fluids. We talked about those before already. A bottle jack, and a few extra chocks and a few extra hitches. This box just kind of hangs out in the back of the truck. It's easy to get at. It also has a pocket saw. We climb up on top of the RV sometimes to cut branches off when we can't make it underneath them. If you have battery tools, you need a battery charger. This is the lithium charger system for my drills. The angle grinder, oh my gosh, this is probably one of the most used tools, power tools that I have. You can cut pretty much anything with something like this. Again, just a cheap Harbor Freight unit, but it has served us very well. A rotary tool of some sort. This is the Dremel tool. This is incredibly handy. We have a metal cutting blade on this. We actually just recently used this to do a pretty big job. It has seen a lot of work. This is a pretty neat tool we really like as well. This is an oscillating multi-tool. This is a really neat tool that takes the place of a lot of different cutting tools as well. It vibrates back and forth. This is a round bit and you can cut different angles on it. Sometimes there's just no other tool that will do, and this tool works the best for that. You can get wood cutting bits, you can get metal cutting bits for this. We normally use this for cutting wood or doing pocket cuts. You can put a square bit on this. I don't have any in front of me here, and you can plunge cut, meaning you can cut straight into something and cut square holes or small slots or something like that. And I do carry a circular saw with me, but I didn't initially, and this basically kind of took the place of a lot of my circular saw needs. I also have a soldering iron. This thing is nothing too special, but it is a variable temperature soldering iron. We do a lot of electrical work, as I've talked about. You need a soldering iron. Here's another power tool that is really, really handy. This is a hot air gun. Nothing special again. It has a 750 and 1500 watt setting, but instead of a hair dryer, it has a very small nozzle so you can get something incredibly hot right on the tip of it. This has come in really, really handy. You can use it from anything from helping remove wallpaper all the way up to helping remove bolts. You can get them really, really hot with something like this and really help your project move along. We use this thing all the time, it seems, and it is probably definitely a tool that I would want to have on the road. Here's that little circular saw I told you about. It's a small one. It's sort of portable, a little bit easier to lug around, but it's amazing how much you can do with even that much blade. There's just certain things like long cuts that are really difficult to do with anything other than a circular or a table saw. Buckets. We carry 2 buckets that are not used for anything. You just never know when you're going to need them. Sometimes we'll actually collect water off our roof with the buckets, but sometimes it's just good to have a bucket around. We do our own oil changes, so we carry a nasty, dirty oil pan. It's been with us all around the country for a couple years. They're cheap. Some people throw them away. I try to save it and reuse it. All right, in this bag, it's partially tool, partially a pleasure thing. In here, I've got a full climbing harness, a tree climbing harness, a whole bunch of climbing gear and climbing rope. While we do climb for fun sometimes, we've also used this as a tool a number of times. We've built things up high that I've strapped in using this setup, and one time on the road I had to rescue a guy out of a tree, so this was a really helpful thing to have as well. So I'd call it a tool in my kit as well. In this bucket here, I carry all my nasty, dirty, oily things that I don't want to get all over other stuff, like our basically chemicals. We got some auto protectant chemicals, some floor carpet cleaner stuff. I've got a grease gun. You got to have a grease gun on the road because there's a number of things usually on your truck and trailer that need to be greased occasionally. In here I just also have other things like paint, brake parts cleaner, a number of other lubes, WD-40s, white lithium grease, and a number of other greases. Stable for stabilizing fuel. Stuff like that just hangs out in this bucket in the back of the truck. Well, I'm sure there's a few things in the truck and trailer that I'm missing, but I pulled a lot of the stuff that I carry out. Again, I've pared down to this assortment from a much larger assortment of tools that I had in my house. I've found that with this, I'm able to do most jobs that I want to accomplish. I have run into a handful of larger jobs, however. I don't carry with me like a welder and things like that, but you usually can rent or even borrow tools from somebody on the road, so you don't necessarily have to carry everything, but this is what I carry. I've made a big mess here, and I guess I need to put it all back now. I'd love to hear what you guys keep in your toolbox if you travel on the road, or what you would take if you traveled on the road. I'm sure that there's something here that's a really handy tool that I don't have. Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to hit that subscribe and like button, and we will see you guys next time.